All right, so we've answered 4 of the questions in the 411. There's 4 questions. First question is why. Next question is who. And then the final question is what. And now we're on to the 4th question. We're going to write that on the back. And the 4th question is when. When am I going to make disciples? And there's 5 areas that we want to answer this question to. And the first one is this, and it relates just to you personally. When am I going to be baptized? Right? So you remember over on the front, Jesus said, I want you to make disciples. He has all authority. He tells us to make disciples, and he says, do that by going to the people. That's the who. Going to the people, sharing the gospel with them, that's the what, all right? And when people believe, Jesus wants us to baptize them. Baptism is an outward sign of a decision that we've made in our own lives to follow Jesus, and it's a way to identify him as our King. And so, one of the first steps that we take of obedience to Jesus and learning, and as we teach people to obey the things that Jesus has commanded us, right? One of the first steps of obedience we can take is to be baptized. And so we just simply want to ask the person, when do you want to be baptized? We have baptisms at our church on a regular basis, the last Sunday of every month. But for instance, just this past weekend, I know of one group of people, one of our groups, had somebody come to faith, and there was a baptism at someone's house in their swimming pool. The issue is not where it happens. The issue is, are you ready to be baptized and identify yourself as a follower of Jesus? And so this new believer that we're training, we want to ask them that question and let them know, hey, we're ready to baptize you as soon as you're ready. And the sooner the better, so that we can begin to take these love-driven steps of obedience to Jesus, right? So when do you want to be baptized? Second question is, when are you going to pray for the people on your relationship map? So is there a time of day, each day, that you could stop and you could pray for the people that are on your relationship map? It may be a time in the morning when you first get up, or it could be before you go to bed at night. It could be maybe during your lunch hour. Then maybe that's the best time for you to kind of get away from everything and just spend some time praying. Some people set their alarm to pray at a certain time each day, and you might want to do that. But the bottom line is, when are you going to pray for the people on your relationship map? All right? And then the third is, who can you share with and when can you share with them this week, all right? So somebody on your relationship map, you know what to say to them, what to share with them. Now the question is, when can I do that? And you may say, you know, I really have a burden to share with Al, and so I'm going to try to have lunch with Al this Wednesday, and so let's just write that down so you and I can be praying about that together. We're going to pray for Al, and because you're going to try to share with him this week, right? And then the 4th when has to do with training someone else, all right? Is there someone that you know that as we've been going through this training together, you're saying, you know what, I know somebody who needs this training too. Well, now you know how to train them. You have the tool, right? You've learned everything that you need to know in order to train somebody else. You've got all the pieces here. And so just ask yourself, when can I train this person that God has brought to my heart, all right? And then the 5th and the final question has to do with us meeting again. When can we meet next, and I can begin to help you grow in your relationship with Jesus? When can we do that? Where are we going to meet? And who can you bring with you? Do you have anybody that you're thinking, you know what? I know somebody else that would really benefit from times like this, and I want to bring them too. So let's decide when we're going to meet, where that's going to happen, and then you can invite anybody to that you want, and we can begin training them together. All right, so you've seen all the pieces of the 411, answering the 4 questions, all right? Why do we make disciples? Who do we make disciples of? What do we say? And when are we going to do it? Now, the 411 is 4 questions. The first one stands for one piece of paper, right? Just one piece of paper that we need to do this initial training. And then the last one stands for, it takes about 1 hour or maybe a little bit less to actually show this to somebody, to help them make their own copy. And then in the weeks ahead, we're going to train them how to use this tool with someone else. And so I want to encourage you to use this tool for your own disciple-making efforts and to use it as a training tool to teach others to make disciples who make disciples until everyone has had a chance to put their faith in Jesus.